What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Climb Together podcast. I'm your host, Tony, here with my co-host, Deception. Deception, say hi.
What up?
Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 90. Woo, woo, woo. Claps, claps, claps. This episode probably will end up being a little short, mainly because of the fact that X Defiant Season 2 drops today. This is September 25th, and Deception and I are itching and foaming at the mouth to play.
I want it bad.
So, we're gonna talk about what we've got to talk about, or what we can talk about, and then if you guys are watching us live, stay tuned afterwards because we're gonna play some X Defiant. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get into it today. Let me scroll back in the DMs. First off, to those of you guys that watch this, podcast and everything like that, go ahead and pop over to the Scorpion Syndicate Twitch and drop a follow. We're so close to affiliate. 13 followers away. We have all the other numbers. We literally just need to hit the follower goal. So if you guys aren't
I'm gonna be
following,
streaming there from like right after this podcast.
yeah. So if you guys aren't following, go follow. Go follow that channel. It's our org channel. It's our little baby. Go follow. Go follow.
Got to get it to affiliate, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We got some good stuff playing if we get to affiliate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Okay, so going in, I'm just kind of just scrolled back in our DMs because that's usually what I do for these podcasts anyway. Because we send each other stuff all week, and then we try to go in like chronological order in some sort of fashion during the podcast. So Roster Mania is still going strong for the Call of Duty League. Going into Black Ops 6. There are a lot of rumbles going around of different teams, especially for LAT or Los Angeles Thieves, as some of you guys may better know them as. They're trying to build a good team around Ghosty, and what
The rumored team they have would be a really good team. That probably would. That team would probably rival the top 4 teams.
Oh, for sure. I mean, though, a couple of those players are coming from the top 4 teams. We have, Scrappy. So this is the rumored. This is all hypothetical. This is not true. This is rumored. But, Scrappy, Hydra, Envoy on the Thieves with Ghosty, and they're looking at Sender for their new coach. Hypothetically,
What's also interesting is that they're looking at Sender, and Dureel also got released from New York, so
they could be looking
they could nab both the C9 coaches if they wanted.
Yeah. So it's an interesting look at what the possibility for the future is looking like for the 100 Thieves. Like, because, Ghosty, he's a solid player, right? Like, I think we all kind of known that.
Ghosty's more than a solid player. That guy is great.
Well, yeah.
He just has to have he showed it on Optic. He just didn't really have the fortune of playing with a fantastic team this year.
Yeah, so I think he just needs, I think that's kind of what everyone's kind of feeling, is that he just needs a good team around him, and he'll do some electrical.
I mean, they got second at EWC, so I mean, they pulled one good event out.
Yeah, so I think if they can, get this specific roster together, they'll be legendary, honestly.
This team would be really good because it's been like, because I think a lot of people since Scrap and Hydra, like, I mean, Hydra's been around longer than Scrap as far as like being in the actual league, but like, since Hydra got on that New York team and started playing really well around, like, he started really heating up toward the end of like Vanguard and everybody
Mhm.
was looking at him to be really good going into MW2. And we knew Scrappy was coming in MW2. Um, I think a lot of people were like low key hoping that those two would be on the team together
Oh
because they
yeah.
were both like basically rookies that looked really, really good. Um, and them, if they are on a team together at LAT, I mean, wow, that is going to be a really good team. Like just of those two, plus they have Envoy, who like Envoy can be one of the most sneakily good players in the whole league. Like
Mhm.
I feel like people don't talk about how good he is. I mean, he had some slumps last year, but I mean, like when he's good, he's really good. Like he can really make or break a team. So I think Envoy coming back to LAT would be really cool. I hope that happens.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, like, he has the rapport with Nate, so I mean, it wouldn't be shocking for that to be a thing. Um, I don't know. I just think if this were to come to fruition the way that I think a lot of people hope, especially like LA Thieves fans hope. Like I'm a 100 Thieves fan, but I've never really become LA Thieves fan, if that makes any sense. Just because of how like their roster has been in the CDL from the beginning, really. They haven't really been able to like I think I think they have like one championships. One major
They
championship?
won. They have two event wins. And one was a major and one was champs.
Okay. Okay, so I guess they kind of like proved me wrong on that. But like they haven't really been like
I don't remember if they won
consistently at
event MW2 or not.
they haven't been consistently on the top though, and that's the thing. They've been very inconsistent as a team. Some weeks they'll be
They've been
really good.
inconsistent as a roster.
Yeah.
They've had like they went from having like really like they've had really like volatile rosters before, like where they could be good, but they just weren't. Or like they were good at one point and then like some point in the year they just fell off or vice versa. They started off like this MW2 team started off really bad but actually like picked it up pretty well. Like I thought
Mm-hmm.
they were actually like pretty good toward the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But like the only team that they have had where like I looked at them as like they could win an event like anytime they wanted was like that Vanguard / MW2 roster where they had Kenny and Octane and Envoy and
Yeah.
Jaraza. Like that team, I was like, yeah, they can win. They can win whatever.
Yep. And then
But
that
like
just never
since they
came.
came in Cold War, like when you look at like the CDL LA Thieves, like they've been so back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is like with this past like year, they really had like it was the roster was like a money issue, like because of just salaries and everything like that. Like, I mean, we talk about it a lot here and just like how inflated salaries are in the industry right now. And so I mean, it was kind of a necessity to kind of get a new team or kind of like quote unquote like a wash player on the roster to that could still do something, you know, because like you got two rookies who are coming up from challengers who were dominant in challengers, so giving them more um uh credibility. One rookie player, Ghosty, who he was coming off his rookie year, going into second year in the CDL. Like
I was
his whole
really happy he went to LAT,
yeah,
to be
but I
honest.
mean he was a promising player, but didn't have enough to prove himself financially. You know what I mean? To be worth a lot of money. So I mean, I see why they did what they did, and Ghosty proved to be like a good investment. I mean, everyone saw it kind of when they were on like when he was on Optic that he was gonna be a good addition to the league. But I feel like this year, especially carrying a team like he did, proved that he has the capability to do better.
Oh, he carried them so
Oh
hard.
yeah, it was
Like
Ghosty versus
I would say
everybody.
like all the way up until like champs, he was like the only one doing anything on that team. Like almost every match that I ever saw a score like a box score for, he was like the only person positive.
Hmm.
And he would be positive. I wouldn't mean like he had a positive like he had a 1.02 or like a 1.03 or 1.05. Everybody else would be negative and he'd have like a 1.15, 1.2.
Yeah. So I mean, if this roster comes to play, this will actually give him an opportunity to like, I think he'll thrive as a
Yeah,
player.
this will be another optic type thing
Yeah.
where it's like he has more than good enough players around him to win events, and he's a good enough player himself to win events. So I would be, if I was a fan of any of the other teams, especially the previous top four teams, I'd be a little worried about LAT.
Yeah.
Um, I think because they are going to be such a new team, they might take a little bit to adjust. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe they don't do that great in the beginning, but like I feel like I mean, who knows? They could pick it up really quick. I mean,
I mean, Scrappy and
we'll
Envoy
see.
have that chemistry from being on Ultra together, so I think
Yeah.
they might start out as like the dynamic duo, and then Hydra and Ghosty will kind of find their like fall into their place in the team after maybe like the first major, like the first set in the league. So I think it's a promising team. Nadeshot did come out and say that it probably wasn't gonna happen, but I don't know. Like usually when things like this get leaked, it's pretty like certain things.
Yeah, like
Like
CDL Intel doesn't report unless they're near 100% certain that whatever sources they've been given has said that this is true. And like, it's weird because like Nate Shot said that whole thing on stream about like he was like, "Oh, if you guys want this team and I can't pull through, then I'm the bad guy." But then like now there's all these like rumors that like the CDL player salaries have gone down and
yeah.
stuff like that. So it's like now it's like you might be able to do it now. Like salaries are gone down. You don't have to spend as much money on players. Like
Yeah, so I mean, and like a lot, and the thing is too, going off of that, like with the recent salary deductions, like a lot of people are like, why are you taking away their money? Like they're still making six figs. Like these players are still making six figures. Like uh, that $100,000 that they're getting cut, like on Optic, that's $400,000 that can go towards something else within the organization. Like they don't need to be paying them that much money. They're living in luxury right now by playing Call of Duty. Like making six figures a year, like more than that. Like they're like if they were to just make like 100 grand in salary a year, they'd still be living comfortably. They're in Texas. Like most of these teams are in Texas. Like they'll be okay.
yeah, I feel like realistically, like with the way the CDL's like climate is in terms of the economy, I feel like the most somebody's probably worth is like 150K, 200K,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 250K if they're like really good. But like I heard Krim's salary when he was on NYSL was like 380K, and I was like,
Yeah,
bruh.
that's way too
Like
much.
I know Krim is widely considered the GOAT, but like he was like in the twilight of his career and he's making 380K. Like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
they're paying that man too much, respectfully.
Yeah, for not even winning. Like he was coming off a win, yeah, but like he was not.
Yeah,
CDL.
he had won quite a bit with Dallas, but like ever since then, like Cold War, he got close a bunch, but FaZe was just too good.
Mm,
And but that New York team just weren't. They
yeah.
weren't quite good enough to win because it was like when they had Krim and Clay, and like because Hydra was starting to get a lot better, they looked great. Like on paper, that
Mm-hmm.
roster looked like they could win because that was like Krim and Clay came from Dallas, and it was like, oh, they're back. Like they could win again, and they just didn't. It was just
Yeah.
very rocky that whole season.
Yeah. So I mean, but still though, like people shouldn't be being paid that much. And if the players are salty about it, turn on stream, dude. Like I know people don't stream scrims anymore, but like you you guys don't even know how much money some of these freaking players make off of streaming. They're doing okay. Like they're doing better than most like full-time streamers on Twitch.
That is true.
Especially if they join like, I don't know, especially like from FaZe or like any of the like big five, I'd say, now that Cloud9's in there.
I don't know, bro. This is weird. Like the way that they're splitting, like they're taking 2 people from Ultra and they're taking Hydra from Cloud9. I don't know. I feel like there's either going to be like another top 4, but not 5, or this might be just a top 3, and like Ultra and New York are like fringe top 3
Yeah.
teams. Like maybe it's like it might be like, oh, these are definitely the top 3: Optic, FaZe, LAT, but like Ultra and New York could sneak in there, and then there's the rest.
I mean,
But
I
I don't
feel
know,
like
bro.
it could also give like the league a little bit more depth too, like because like 4 teams that like absolutely made it to like grand final, like would always make it to grand finals. You know what I mean, or losers finals at least. Now it could be like top 3 and like 4 and 5 duke it out a lot for that top fourth spot, or like maybe
I don't know.
there's even like a sixth
I'm
team.
not
I don't
really
know.
confident in. I don't know. I feel like maybe since New York is only losing Hydra, they have a chance to still be a pretty good team,
Mm-hmm.
depending on who they get. But I don't have really the confidence in Ultra to get players that are good enough to match what would
Scrap.
be the top 3/top 4,
Yeah.
because they have also been kind of a rocky team. Like, yeah, they've been good since like they've been pretty good for the most part since like Cold War, but like the first like year, like MW19, they just were so rocky. Like it was like sometimes they were good, sometimes they sucked, sometimes like they did okay, sometimes they like finished dead last. Like it was just like who knows what was gonna happen. And
I
like now
honestly,
they're at a point to where they really like they don't really have that roster stability that they had since they've lost 2 of their core players. So it's like, what are they gonna do?
I think it's gonna be another one of those situations where they're gonna be a very inconsistent team. I think they're gonna have their moments of greatness, um, because of the team that they have behind them and some of the players that they have on the roster. But I think like that consistency of being good all the time or relatively good all the time is gonna those days are gonna be behind them. Until they can like balance in on a new roster. Um, so I don't know. I think it's gonna be a interesting season to see what teams kind of fall back in. I mean, it's probably gonna stick with Optic and FaZe being up there in the top 4 as well. Like they're always
It'll
just kind of up there
definitely
though.
be Optic, FaZe, LAT, I think.
Yeah, if this is the
Might it
roster.
might take LAT a little bit to like get fully up there. Like we might see some teams play spoiler, maybe like Major One, but like I don't know. I feel like it's I feel like it's definitely Optic, FaZe, LAT. The
Yeah,
rest
I mean,
is kind
like
of a
the thing
toss up.
is like Optic and FaZe have had such consistent rosters. I mean, like Simp, Beezy, and Celium have been together on the same roster for 5 years now. You know, like the amount of like depth they know each other as teammates better than any other team right now. I think like they have the most like they have the most consistent roster.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean we've had like the FaZe guys have been together since MW19.
mm,
Outside their fourth, the trio have been together since MW19.
mm. But they're
I
keeping
would say
draws
the
though.
only pitfall that FaZe has is they keep rotating between fourths.
Yeah,
But like, I mean,
they're keeping draws though this year though, aren't they?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they are. There's still a month till Black Ops 6. We got to keep that in mind. Today
Mm,
makes 30 days until it comes out. So, still plenty of time for crazy roster changes.
yeah, and you know
I mean, we
as
haven't really heard anything from like the bottom 8 teams.
no,
So,
I mean they'll their rosters are they're either gonna matter a lot or they're gonna matter a little. You know, they're either gonna be, oh my god, this team's gonna be able to compete, or it's just like, all right, they're gonna stay at the bottom. Like,
I'm interested to see where like what Gentlemates does if they're actually coming into the league. I just want to see what they actually do because I know that Saudi Arabian team that played at EWC is coming into the league, and they're just straight up bringing their 4 players that they played with at the EWC. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, we'll keep you guys updated the more we know. We'll keep you guys posted, obviously. That's what we do here. Keep everybody posted. But speaking of CDL, I think this is probably one of the worst decisions they've ever made. I don't know if this is a them thing or a mutual thing, but they have let go of probably one of my favorite casters, Miles Ross. Oh no, he was laid off. Yeah, so with I love you. Good luck at class.
Yeah, why of all people did they get rid of Miles? I mean, ideally, I hope they wouldn't get rid of anybody, but like, why is he the first choice?
Yeah, like
I
he's so
assume that
good.
might be because he was getting paid the most.
Yeah, but just take a like. Did he just like not want to take a pay cut?
I don't know.
I don't like pay cuts right now. I think everybody needs to be a little humble and take a pay cut in the gaming world right now. Um, or at
It's
least
just
like
like I don't know. The thing about taking a pay cut right now is it's just like because of the climate that the economy in general has been in the last couple of years. I feel like it's really hard for somebody to take a pay cut.
I don't know. A lot of these people live very comfortably though. Like that's the thing though. Is like
It depends on where they're living.
it's
Because
true.
like, what if Miles is living in California? Like that could be rough
I
if he
have no
takes a
idea
pay
where
cut.
Miles lives, but that is true. But like I don't know. I think the like one of the ways that the gaming and like esports community is going to recover from like this economic downturn is I mean layoffs, but like also like these pay cuts cuz like everyone's pay got so inflated because all these investors were coming in being like here's money and they're like yeah, we can afford to pay these players this much and they got into bidding wars over players and they just kept going up and up and up and it just kind of raised the minimum but like
Yeah, but the thing about CDL like minimum salaries, it's only went up once. It didn't go up that
well
much.
that's minimum I'm talking like overall like when you know because sometimes you know these players have multiple deals on the table and they're gonna go with the one with the most money for the most part unless it's like an optic situation where Dashy wants to get on optic you know but it they're gonna try to outbid the other person because they want the player so they're gonna keep bidding money and raising the value of that player and then that player's like yeah last year I got paid this much from this team so you can pay me this much and I did this and this so you can pay me even more so it's like and it's not just in the CDL it's just like across esports players in general.
Good thing that won't be happening with Zen City.
Nope. That's like pretty awesome of him doing that though the so for those of you guys that don't know methods we talked about him a couple times he's a content creator for uh optic retired retired call of duty professional he is now going to fund and build and coach his own challengers team um to compete
It's gonna be
so
pretty fun to watch, I think.
I think so too.
It'll be fun too um because him and Zuma with the flank, they have a long history with the flank. It'll be cool because Zuma has the Stallions Challengers team. It'll be fun if they face off
Mm,
against each other.
oh yeah so it's just gonna be interesting. I like it though.
I'm
Ooh.
excited.
Sorry, I'm like still like waking up. I was up at 5:30 this no, I was up at 6 this morning.
6, bro.
Yeah. And then I worked on homework until like 10:30 ish. 10:30, 10:40, maybe 10:30. And then I got into bed with Riss, cuddled, fell back asleep. And then I woke up. So I'm struggling a little bit.
I'm just ready for X to find, bro.
We know, Deception, we know.
It's live right now.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is gonna be like a 40-minute podcast. Buck up, guys. We're gonna go through this quick. But actually, I forgot that you sent me this, but going back to the LA Thieves thing, LA Thieves has an agreement with Setup in Toronto on acquiring Scrap and Envoy, according to CDO Intel. So,
Yeah, it
I
seems
mean,
like things have been moving a little bit.
yeah.
I mean,
So, I mean,
nothing's concrete, but I feel like things are moving.
yeah. I think that would be a good roster. I mean, get them out of the purple, get them into the black. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'd be good.
I think it would be super fun having Scrap and Ghosty on the team because they're both major trash talkers. Imagine having both of them on the same team.
Yeah. So going back to my
Oh,
point on like salaries and stuff like that, you did send me this. Like it's very hard for them to like sustain the contracts. This is coming from someone that like works in um I don't know what team he works for, but uh they have to lower but they've had to lower buyouts and and then like within like the Canada aspect of things, there's like exchange rates and taxes and that kind of stuff. uh there's just a bunch of different things going on. It because like if your business is um registered in one country, like these businesses are, um then like if you hire someone from out of state, you have to do visas, which is expensive. Well, out of country, so you have to do visas, which is really expensive, so that they can either
and
come to
depending on the
play.
team, it could take forever for you to even get visas.
Yeah. And then
You know,
like,
look at what Ravens had to deal with last year.
or you could have a whole separate, like you can have them compete and live and everything. You don't have to have them come to work in that um in that country, but you also have to like do the exchange rate and taxes and everything like that on
I
what
don't
you're
know.
paying them to not only suffice, like say for in this instance it's Canada and the United States, to suffice the United States regulations and the Canadian regulations. So there's a lot of red tape, makes it very difficult, makes it very expensive in a lot of cases, depending. um
But that's like the hard part about like these teams trying to base themselves outside of the US. Like we have Ultra in Toronto, and like we have Surge moved to Vancouver officially now. So um it's just like I know that they want to try to base themselves in their home city. I think like Surge and Ultra are two teams that have really been trying to focus on that. Um, whereas most other teams are just in Texas.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just difficult. It's difficult to work around that.
Because like they want to create, like the whole point of like this franchising thing was to create that like hometown or home state um thing that like traditional sports have. Like me, I live in New York, upstate, and I'm a Bills fan through and through, and so are most of the people that live here. You know what I mean? It's a cultural thing. So naturally, when the CDO got announced and I saw that there was a New York team, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna root for them. But then they kind of suck, so I was like, maybe not so much. But you know what I mean? Like people like rooting for their home team, and it's kind of like indoctrinated in us from an early age of like supporting our like middle school and high school like sports teams, and then like having like our state teams for everything. Like New York State has like 5 teams in every sport. Like there's 3
Yeah, New
NFL
York is a
teams.
popular market.
Yeah. Well, cuz there's like cuz there's what like because there's a difference between upstate and downstate. Like we really differentiate ourselves from like this New York City and Long Island and upstate. So like Then you have different teams, and then you have for the NFL, for example, there's the New York Jets, the New York Giants, and the Buffalo Bills. Like, that's a lot of freaking teams. And then in baseball, there's the New York Mets and the New York Yankees. Go Mets. Um,
Yeah, in the NBA, you have the Knicks and the Nets, but like even before the Nets went to Brooklyn, there wasn't a long time in New York without a team
yeah,
in the NBA because like they've always had the Knicks, but like for the longest time back in like the 60s and 70s, they had a team in Buffalo. New York is just a big market.
it is. I mean, it's a whole like New York City and Long Island is like a whole different state in as far as population goes and like culture goes as well. I mean, like, fuck, if you if you ever in your life go to New York City, or if you've been there, and you've experienced the life there, and like how the culture is a little bit, and then you get in a car, you say you flew to New York City, get in a car, drive out of New York City for like an hour to, no, I'd say 2 hours, 2 hour drive north, into upstate New York, and it is a totally different state, totally different people, so yeah. But you know what? Anyway, back to the home thing, like the home team thing. Like people like their home team, you know what I mean? And I get that that's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to stick with that. But with gaming, it's just so different because one, there's not as much.
Different because it just was never like that
No,
before the last like 5-6 years.
yeah. I mean, it's always
Like
been like like
especially for COD.
oh yeah, because you're like, oh, I follow my favorite team, and like I've been watching their videos for years. You know what I mean? There's not always been a team, and I feel like there's like I don't know. I feel like there's so much more potential to left before um the esports world is comparable to traditional sports. One being time. I mean, time is such a big factor. These sports have been around for so long, and the internet is still such a new thing to a lot of people. And esports in general, um, like I did this. Um, I'm gonna let you guys in on like my little business and school world. In like the Scorpion Syndicate, being a CEO and everything. Um, I did this pitch competition last spring, and like one of the like I probably could have won, but I spent so much time in my presentation describing what esports is, how it's profitable, when all these other people had things that like were already familiar to the judges. So like, I mean, like by any means, like my pitch needs work, right? I'm not saying that like I got gypped or whatever, but like I kind of got a little gypped because like I spent
I
so much
think
time.
naturally they were probably a little bit adverse
Yeah,
or apprehensive to like the whole esports thing because it's just not something that they know.
yeah,
Like some people could have probably had the best pitch ever and they still would have been like, nah. Because like it's just something that if everybody else was presenting stuff that they just knew, it's just like why not just go with your gut and go with what you know, and like why take a chance on this whole esports thing? Which that's just the difficult part of trying to get esports out there. That's been the difficult part for a long time.
yeah. I think I don't know. I just it's one of those things is like you just have to get better at learning how to describe it. You know what I mean? Because it's like something that I've learned like over like the past like 3 months in general. Is just how to better describe what we're doing, especially with the Scorpion Syndicate. Like before, I was just like, yeah, we're
It's
a
got to be
gaming.
more than just hey, we play video games and we make money.
Yeah, like I was like, hey, we're a gaming organization. We have competitive teams. We create content, and content around those competitive teams and separate. And then we have like the business aspect with merchandise and sponsorships and stuff like that. But now I've kind of learned that it's like a three-pillared. Like my speech has been a little bit more tuned, and just like with my own. This is without the coaching of like the professor that I'm working with. This was all I did over the summer. It's like now it's like a three-pillared organization, one being esports, one being business, and then one being content, and they all intertwine together in certain areas. You have the esports, which makes money via championship winnings or event winnings, tournament winnings, content, which makes money through ad revenue, brand deals, etc. And then the business side, which is the merchandise and working with and getting sponsors based off of
Yep.
the things that happen with the esports team and the content. So like now that's a little bit more redefined. Like it's a little bit more defined for people to understand. Because when you're talking to investors, I mean, the main thing that they want to know is how you're going to make money with the money that they're giving you. Because most of the time, unless it's like a grant, they want to know how they can get their money back.
Yeah.
So, just something for people, young entrepreneurs in the gaming world, or just young people in the gaming world and the business side in general, just something for you to keep in mind. Always let them know what you're going to use the money for and how they're going to make money back, unless it's a grant, then just how you're going to make money, but what you're going to use the money for. So it's a very interesting thing. But luckily for me, they're doing the same competition again this year because that was the first annual one. So like now they're doing it again, and now I'm like, okay, I know, and I'm gonna work with the professor, be like, yo, dude, you and me, we gonna work together all semester on this shit. I'm gonna be in your office every fucking day. I'm gonna win that money for Scorpion Syndicate. Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just something, just a little personal relation to the whole money situation when it comes to gaming in comparison. Because with traditional sports and like franchise leagues like that, people know, they're like, oh, okay, hometown games, you're gonna have hometown games that people can go to, you're gonna have away games that people are gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna go see them, and then it'll be televised and all this other stuff. And esports operates on a similar basis, on a similar framework, but it is so different because of the culture around gaming. Like you're not. I mean the same thing is like most of the time people aren't, their favorite team isn't the home team. You know what I mean? Because of the content aspect of things and just like the internet beginnings in general. Like it's like rare and or frowned upon to be a fan of a team that's not your like state's team. You know what I mean? Like
Unless
especially
you're in a state that doesn't have a team.
yeah. Like using going back to the Buffalo Bills example, like here we'll be in class talking about the Buffalo Bills, right? A lot. Like this is Bills country.
Yeah,
Um,
because I feel like anybody outside of New York City probably likes the Bills.
there's a couple that don't. I mean, it's pretty Bills or Giants up here. Jets. If you like the Jets up here, you're like, we don't really like you. It's kind of like a red flag as a personality. It's like a personality
I
flaw.
feel like that's like anybody that likes the Jets, though. I
It
don't know much.
really
I don't know a lot about football because I don't watch it, but like I never hear anything about the
no.
Jets.
It's a
So
personality flaw. Um, but so like we talk about it in class a lot. Like I'm in an ethics class right now, and my professor brings it up like daily because he like knows that most of the students here watch the Buffalo Bills, whether they're
mm,
football fans or not. It's just in the culture up here is like Bills, 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 Bills. Everybody owns a Bill shirt. On game day, you walk around campus and it is just Buffalo blue everywhere. And the thing is our school color is blue, but it's like a royal blue. So like they're not even trying to like, it's not even like a school, you know, a spirit kind of thing. It's a Buffalo spirit kind of thing. And a lot of the kids that go to school here are from Buffalo too. So like they really love Buffalo Bills. Like our school does sometimes for games. I think most games that are on the weekends, like Saturday or Sunday, um, there's like a bus. So you can buy tickets, hop on the bus, you take the bus with a bunch of other students, go to the game, and then come back on the same bus. So like they bus students to the games, the home games. So
wow.
yeah. So like if you're not a Bills fan around here, it's kind of hard to fit in.
I
Most
know
of
in
the
the NBA, a lot of people are like just Knicks fans out of pity.
Yeah. I
because
mean,
the
I'm
Knicks
not
haven't
really a fan
really
of
been
the
good since
NBA.
the 90s.
Yeah. I don't really do NBA. It's not as big. Up here, football is really like the main thing,
I
and then
feel
like
like if
hockey.
you lived in New York City, I feel like basketball would be bigger than football.
Yeah. New York City for sure, but like upstate,
I
it's
mean,
like
like
it's
the Knicks have
hockey and
Madison
football.
Square Garden, and they were like one of the first basketball teams. Period.
Mm,
Like even before the NBA.
yeah. Like here on campus, like we don't even have a football team because like our football team, like the way that our football team, like you know how normally they are like the most popular people or the most watched team that everybody goes to their
Yeah.
games. That's our hockey team here. We don't even have a football team. They said we're just gonna do away with that. We don't even have a football club. We have rugby instead. Like we have rugby and we don't football. Like
But you're better than my college. My college didn't have any sports.
no, we have like a bunch of different club sports. Um,
My college had tennis courts, but I don't even think there was a tennis team. It was just
no,
like you can go do that whenever.
we have a very good sport. Like my college is a very good sports college, right? It's very good for academics as well, but very good for sports. A lot of kids come here. Most of our teams win, like the state championships. Like my freshman year, two of my suite mates were on the softball team, and they won the New York State College, you know, conference or whatever. So they ended up during the week of finals, mind you. They had to take their finals early. They take all their finals in one day after coming back from the conference champs. And then they took their finals in one day, packed up their stuff, flew out to Texas for like the country conference, like for like competing all against a bunch of other softball teams in the country type shit. Which only like one or two teams from each
Wow.
state, like one, I think it's one team from each. It's like one private team and then one public school team get to go from each state. So there's like two different conferences, within that. Um, but yeah, like that was just our softball team, which is like they were like 8 years running on like the New York State champs, and then like there's our hockey team is really good. They win a lot. It's not an 8 year streak, but just about. Our swim team is on like and just our swim team just went up divisions because of how good they were. Because of how good they are. They went from D3 to D2, and then uh yeah, just like our baseball team's decent, I think. I don't really know. I don't really pay attention to the male sports other than like hockey because like all the men here are like pretty dicky, so I try not to associate. But they throw some great parties though. Um, hypothetically. Um, but yeah, like
Hypothetically,
hypothetically,
I feel like they would throw great parties
they
if I attended them.
yeah. Yeah. Um, so legendary. Like this school is like known as like a party school because it's out in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing really else to do, so everyone just parties. So partying is like a big part of the culture here.
Mm.
Um, really big part of the culture at this school, and that's why I like the job that I have is because like it's a late night food place, so you know everybody needs their drunken food, and it's really great for my pockets. Um, Fuck, I forgot even what we were talking about. I was going on a rant.
I was
Anyway,
thinking about the Defiance, so I also forgot.
yeah, I don't know. You want to call it here? Go play some XD?
Yes. Oh man, I want to play it so bad.
Alrighty, we'll call it here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the podcast. Sorry for that little bit of whateverness that was at the end there. We're just really excited to play this new season. We'll talk all about it next week, go into detail, all that fun stuff. Give our first impressions. For episode number 91. We're officially like within 10 of 100, which is insane. That we've been doing this podcast for so long, and we're finally getting to 100. So, thank you guys so much for being here with us along this journey and helping us continue to do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys follow us on Twitch, where we stream this live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. EST unless something else happens. And then make sure to subscribe and like the podcast on YouTube, on my YouTube, Tony Scorp, where we have all the episodes uploaded. You know, if you're feeling a little frisky, go back to some of our older episodes. We talk about in detail about a lot of different things within the gaming world, a lot of tips and tricks about streaming and content creation and venturing into the world of gaming. So thank you guys again. Deception say bye.
Bye.
See you guys next time. Peace.